Hi. Just a second. Is that a little better? I want to turn out the ring light a little bit. I'm not looking as fresh as I usually do. I did just get out of the movie theater, so I'm a little, like, disheveled here. But hi, I'm GremlinLord615, and today is my 25th YouTube live. 25 times I have gone live on here. Just for you. It's crazy. It's crazy to think. And today, usually it's a bunch of, God, sorry, I'm a little frazzled. I literally got home like 45 minutes ago. I'm a little discombobulated here. So yes, this is my 25th live, and we're going to be talking about another variety of movies here. We're talking about Funny Girl first, because that's one I just watched, literally, just got out of the theater. Mortal Kombat II, Tuner, and Michael. And the theme of today's live is nostalgia. All of these movies tie into this idea of nostalgia, in my opinion. And that is what we're going to talk about. As usual, if you're watching this as a VOD, there are timestamps in the video description. So if you're only looking for a certain review, you could jump right into it and not have to worry about anything else. But I would suggest watching them all because, you know, it's going to be some good stuff. It's going to be good stuff here. Let's try to shift it over there a little bit because I feel like I'm a little off kilter here. But yeah, my chest is looking odd. Anyway, so yeah, so let me go ahead and get my document up because I should already have it up, but of course I don't because that would involve being prepared. And as you know, I am not prepared. But hi, hope everyone's doing good tonight. The first movie we are going to talk about, though, is Funny Girl, 1968, Barbra Streisand, Omar Sharif. Simply because I literally just got out of the theater. Like, and I mean that literally. Like, the movie got done at like 7:30. So, we are talking very recent, in my brain, Funny Girl. I don't have any notes for Funny Girl, though, so this is all going to be off the top of my fuzzy little head here. Let's see. The life of Fanny Brice, famed comedian and entertainer of the early 1900s, her rise to fame as a Ziegfeld girl, her subsequent career, and her personal life, particularly her relationship with Nick Arnstein. Arnstein. Now, I have never seen this. I have really not seen. Hi, Malix. How's it going? Talk about Funny Girl. I don't know if you've ever seen Funny Girl. I have not seen Funny Girl. Why? I don't know why. I came into this room and it was already there. It was weird. Like I just entered the room and it was like hanging there. Shout? I probably won't shout, but but hello, hi, welcome. This is my 25th YouTube live. Let's see. Is this based on a real thing? It is. Is it really based on a biography? I'm gonna look real quick because they make it seem like it's a real thing. An ex Carney? Why? Why? Why are they a former Carney? Let's see. Did they give up being a Carney? That's unfortunate. Thought Carney life was fun. But I did say it for you, so there you go. Enjoy. Now subscribe to the channel. Oh, goodness. Let's see. So Bryce was a real person? It says produced by Bryce's son-in-law. That's interesting. I had no idea she was a real person. So it is based on a real person. This is like one of the first things I've seen Barbara Streisand in. I saw her in Meet the Fockers. Was Adjust Your Feelings. You could be gay, bro. It's all right. You could be gay. Knock yourself out there, Melix. Be who you are. Let's see. Have I seen her in anything else? I really don't think I've seen her in anything. Her voice was in Modern Family, so I've seen that. But yeah, I don't think I've seen her in anything else. That's crazy. Like I know the song. I didn't realize that that song "Don't Rain on My Parade" is from this movie. I had no idea it was in this movie. I started hearing the refrain, and I was like, "Wait a second!" And then she just busted out, and I was like, "Wait, I know this one." And then the song "People Who Need People," I knew that one too. I was like, "Wow, apparently I know more about this." Omar Sharif is looking extra handsome in this movie. I mean, I would, maybe not anymore, because he's dead. But, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's a musical. Regal's doing a whole musical every day for the whole month of May. That rhymed. Um, and this is the first one I've actually seen. And I was like, you know what? I'll watch it for my live. It was suggested to me by my community to go see it. They figured I would like it. Did I vote for Trump? No. I finished high school. It was an open book test. There's no way I would do that. So no, BID. I have what they call a brain, and I did not vote for Donald Trump. What a silly question. But yeah. Um, Usually I don't watch a lot of musicals because for me I have a hard time like deciphering what people are saying while they're singing to do it. And I had a little trouble here in this as well, but this was a 4K restored version of the movie, so that was cool. The flat Earth theory dude? Is there a person who's a flat theory Earth dude? I mean, I don't believe the Earth is flat. Hi, Prince. Um, Obviously, because again, I finished high school, so yeah, brain works for the most part. Prince, you didn't tell me that the Putta Butta song was in this movie. Yeah, I'm like Scarecrow. Fiero. I didn't know that was from this movie. I started hearing the refrain and I'm like, I know this. No, I didn't sing along. I don't know all the words. I just know that part of it. Don't rain on my parade. It was so funny because the movie started, right? And the screen was completely black. And it's just this orchestral music. And I'm waiting. And it's just me and one other guy in there. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting, and it was like a minute, and the music was just still playing, but nothing on the screen. So he got up and, like, I guess went to go get an employee because he thought the movie was messed up. So I'm just sitting there in pitch blackness, listening to orchestra, and then the employee comes in, and then the movie actually starts, and it's like Columbia Pictures, and then apparently it's just like an intro. Like that's just how the movie starts. Just an instrumental intro with nothing on the screen. I thought it was like messing up. Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, the picture's messed up or something. What do you mean, these? These whole things? Oh. No, I didn't get up. I thought about it. But when he got up, I was just like, well, one of us is going to get up first. It's going to be me or it's going to be him. And it was him. So he got up and went. And then while he was gone, the movie started. So I was like, oh, sucks to be you. 2023? Fudge if I know. 2023 is 3 years ago. I don't know what I did 3 days ago. Best mystery movie? Mystery movie. My mouth is very broken. Mystery movie of this year? Let's see. I have a list actually of movies. We know it wasn't Nirvana the band, the movie. We know it wasn't that. And we know it wasn't One Spoon of Chocolate. And we know it wasn't The Wizard of the Kremlin. Ooh, I Swear was really good. I did enjoy I Swear. A little rushed at the end, but I did enjoy it. Do I have I Swear on my list? I don't have I Swear on the list. That's weird. Not Dracula. Definitely not Primate. I'm pretty sure I've seen them all this year. Slanted. Not Slanted. You know, it might be I Swear. Definitely not Fuse. Not Hunting Matthew Nichols. Oh, and actually, I really liked Hokum, too. Not Over Your Dead Body, though. Tuner, I would definitely not say Tuner. But do I need water? Do I sound oddly thirsty? I have water. Do I sound odd? Am I making weird mouth noises or something that I wasn't aware of? The movie. It is really cool that it was the 4K restored version now. And I enjoyed it. They had an intermission. The intermission was very short though. It was like maybe a minute tops. Um, and the beginning of the movie was very like lighthearted and fun, like musical stuff that I would expect. And then the second half got really sad. Yeah, it was 2.5 hours. But that second half was just really heavy. And I was just like, oh, the tone of this movie took a turn. I did not cry. No, I did not. Um, and I think because like Omar Sharif, he did cry quite a bit. He cried quite a bit. Um, I don't know. There wasn't like this. I don't know. The emotion in it felt very stage emotion, not like movie emotion. I realized this was a play and a book, so it felt very like that. Like, oh, what do you mean we can't be together? But I love you. You don't love me. You love the idea of me. Like that kind of like classic type of thing. It didn't like hit me in like a realism type of thing. Like the characters always had that snappy thing to say. So I was like, eh. I did enjoy it though. And you're right, Prince. It's a good thing I saw this in theaters because if I would have saw this at home, or if like one of my friends was like, "Oh my god, I never seen Funny Girl, let's watch it," I would not have liked it nearly as much because I could see myself getting very distracted and just be like, meh, meh, meh. That's the power of the movie theater, guys. Go to the movies. It automatically makes something better, even just a little bit. It is. It really is. I mean, obviously the orchestral music is fantastic. Her outfits were all like insane and super beautiful and well made, and like the sets, especially for that bride play that they were doing in the musical within the musical, um, was fantastic. All the costuming like that was great. I really liked all of that. The sound was really good. I didn't hear as much of like the what's it called where they re-record lines. It's like ABS or something. I didn't hear as much of that. I did hear it, but not as much. So they did a good job with the 4K what's the word you're looking for there? I don't know. But yeah, I did find it interesting how she would slip in and out of her accent. I thought that was kind of odd. Like when she wanted to say it, she would speak in her accent, and then other times she wouldn't. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Omar Sharif was a good looking, but pretty sure she won the Oscar as well. I'm trying to open up the page. This was nominee for Best Picture. Yeah, Best Actress in a Leading Role, winner Barbara Streisand. Best Sound was a nominee. Best Cinematography was a nominee. Best Supporting Actress is a nominee. Film Editing, Original Song, and Score of a Musical Picture. So she won the Oscar. Yeah, like and subscribe, damn it. Somebody already did describe or subscribe. Somebody already did. Boop. So what didn't I like about the movie? I like old stuff sometimes. I do enjoy that. Um, there were times where it felt a little slow. I won't lie. There's like long pauses, and it annoyed me more because my theater is it's the same theater I saw the Regal Mystery movie in earlier this week, Tuner, and the speaker has an issue, and it's like a really low like kind of feedback sound or something, and you don't hear it when anything's happening, but when people stop talking and there's no music, you just hear it, and that's not the movie's fault. It just bugs me. Although at the end of Tuner, it made sense because people probably thought it was part of the movie because of his hearing issues and everything. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, so it's a little slow. Like I said, everybody talks obviously in the old timey way of talking, so it feels like everybody has the perfect thing to say. So there's like a lack of authenticity to how normal people would talk in that. Um, Again, that's just the movies that they were in 1968, and these characters are from the early 1900s. So again, makes sense. I do think it's weird that his whole job was gambler. That's his whole career, just being a gambler. Okay, that's odd. It was the 60s, man. I know it was the 60s. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, what a career. He just gambles. I mean, people do it now, I guess, with these prediction markets and all that. Barron Trump's gonna make all his money in prediction markets, predicting what his daddy does and doesn't do. I did laugh quite a bit. Um, Hopefully, it was all the parts that were supposed to be comedic, because I did laugh very often, and I never heard the other guy laugh, which is interesting because he is at the Regal Mystery movies every time. Janitorial, and you could, dude, if you had like cleaning techniques, you could like film yourself doing them. Yep, there's just one guy, and like I said, he's at the Regal Mystery movies, and when he laughs, he's the one that laughs like it's the funniest thing he's ever heard. Remember, I told you what movie was that? I think it was Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Like he was the one who was laughing at the top of his lungs, like ah! Like he thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. And he laughed like that during Tuner too. But he didn't laugh I didn't hear him laugh in this movie. So I thought that was odd. So maybe he didn't want to laugh because it was just me and him. Just the two of us. I wonder if he recognized me. Because I have seen him at the theaters before as well. Like, I'll leave my movie and he'll be buying tickets at the stand. I laughed. I mean, I didn't laugh like he laughs, but I did chuckle and stuff. So it was a funny movie. In the first half, it was funny. The second half, not as much. Like I said, because he gets sad. He starts having his bad luck, and he starts going down his luck. And he has issues with letting his wife be a breadwinner because men have to be the breadwinner. Oh. So he's very upset about that. Well, usually that guy has like one or two other people with him. Definitely an LGBTQIA plus other crew. So, but yeah, like overall, I will say I enjoyed Funny Girl, and part of that is because I saw it in the movies. But like, what would I rate Funny Girl though? That's the thing. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. Is it going to be like my new favorite movie? No. Will I buy it on physical? If it's a good sale, I'll buy it. I'm sure it's out there on 4K since there's a 4K restoration is the word I was trying to say of it. So, hmm. What does IMDb have it as? It was the most expensive movie made in 1968. Also, the top grossing movie in 1968. It's sitting at a 7.4 on IMDb. Her Oscar-winning debut. Can you imagine winning an Oscar on like your first feature film? Like, I know it happens, and I think it's happened recently too, right? I'm sure somebody knows somebody, but like it must be such a crazy feeling because then it's like it doesn't matter what you do now, right? You're always going to be Academy Award winner Barbara Streisand, right? You're always going to be in the credits as Academy Award winner Barbara Streisand, no matter what you do. Even if nothing ever lives up to that movie ever again, they can't take that away from you. I feel like it happened recently too, but I don't remember who it was. I didn't even watch the Oscars, so yeah, like I said, it's a lifetime thing. So, where's my document? There you are. Of course, now I have that song stuck in my head. Don't tell me to stop and sit around and putter. Putter, butter. Don't rain on my parade. And then funny, worst part is I don't even know the words. Like, I just say something. The thing that helps me, that like what I did with Wicked, was that I listened to the music separately from the film. That's true. That's true. You can be a nominee. You can be a nominee. And you also get that permanently on your name too. I mean, some of these actors who are like in their 70s are still Oscar nominee. What movie? There's a movie coming out, and I saw that, and I was just like, that person's been acting for like 60 years. And they're only an Oscar nominee. Who was it? There was somebody I remember. My brain's so frazzled. I'm still like in movie mode. Who I just saw that was like they've never won an Academy Award, and I'm like, how? But there's a lot of actors who out there who should have that one. Yes, not without my blanket. It's an honor just to be nominated. I'd like to thank the Academy for this nomination. Anyway, rating for Funny Girl 1968. I am going to give it a nice, solid 7. I think a 7 fits how I felt about it. I won a Grammy. Yeah, I got my Grammy. You know, that's my overall Grammy. This is like my daytime Grammy. You know, they're a little smaller. You know, I don't know. Part of me feels like a 7's too low, but it's like not really. Yeah, a Grammy, the Grammy Awards. I did enjoy it. Maybe 7.5. I don't know. Somewhere in that range. Somewhere in that range. Because I keep playing it in my head. Like I said, I literally just got out of the theater. Well, now it's about an hour and a half. But what was what? That noise? It's me slapping my leg. Unless you mean like me staring off to the distance thinking about my score. But yeah, that is Funny Girl. It's very much like a stage play movie. They put her in a lot of like matronly dresses. That like empire waist, constant empire waist. It's like, whew. Let her have some hips. Like, jeez. She doesn't need to be in an empire waist all the time. Oh. It's too far. But yeah, that is Funny Girl. And we're going to move to the one that Prince wants. We know he wants this one. So we're going to move to it. It's going to be Mortal Kombat 2. I know that he wants this one. There was no hips in the 60s. Well, all the other showgirls in the plays, they were wearing you know, gowns and stuff. It's just she was always in an empire waist type of thing. Then I could leave. Exactly. You don't want to hear about Michael? That's ignorant. Come on now, you're ignorant. Mortal Kombat 2. The fan favorite champions, now joined by Johnny Cage himself, are pitted against one another in the ultimate battle to defeat the dark rule of Shao Kahn that threatens the very existence of Earthrealm and its defenders. Well, Michael's going to be the last one, so sorry. Because Michael, I feel like I'm going to go long with, and I just want that to be the one that I just continue on with. So, Mortal Kombat is obviously rated R. Um, Funny Girl, I think, is rated G. But also the 60s didn't have as much of a rating system. It's an hour and 56 minutes, released on the 8th. It is not doing great, according to IMDb, financially. It's chilling at 75 mil. It costs about 68 mil, so not doing fantastic, which is kind of surprising. I do want to say that I am not a big Mortal Kombat person. Okay, I barely played the games. It's not something that I have a connection to. I know most of the characters, at least visually, I know the characters. I know most of their names, but it's like not a thing that I grew up with playing. Like, I don't think we ever owned a Mortal Kombat game. I played it at other people's houses. I borrowed it. We rented it. I never owned it. Like, it's not a thing that is ingrained in me, despite playing video games my entire life. So, sorry. The first Mortal Kombat, and I'm not talking about the 90s ones, I'm talking about the one that came out in like 2021, was okay, but it was definitely like felt like it took itself a bit too seriously, if you will. This one feels exactly the way it should feel. I think that this one definitely feels the way it should. And I think if you're a fan of the games like Prince is, you'll pick up on more stuff. I didn't pick up on anything. Well, I mean, I picked up on stuff, but like, my audience, they were well behaved. They were cheering at appropriate times. They were saying things at appropriate times. I was very surprised. There was quite a few people in there. And, they're like, oh, that's that move, or oh, that's that stage. Billy Butcher, diabolical. He was good in it, and people said, oh, he shouldn't be in it because he's too old. But his age plays into his character, so it makes sense. Because he's a washed-up actor. So, I didn't have any problem with him. If you ask a super fan if they have a problem with him, like Prince, I didn't know. But again, it's very much the way it should be, where the characters in the movie are taking it seriously, aside from Johnny Cage. Um, even though things look video game like to us. Yeah, it does play into his story. So, like, he's the audience, right? Like, we're going into this Mortal Kombat world where he has all these serious people telling him the fate of the world is going to be in your hands. And he's like, sure it is. Sure. The same thing that we would say. It's a little bit of an issue because it is basically how Cole Young acted in the first movie when he was having all this stuff explained to him. And he acted the same way. So it's kind of like a retread a little bit in that regard, where we have a character who doesn't believe what's going on until he's involved in it. Though Cole is a new character, he's not from the game, which people did not like. Again, I didn't care because I don't play the game. But yeah, so everybody else is dramatic, like, the fate of your world is here, and he's just there. So it plays up a little bit, kind of campy kind of things. Allegedly. Um, it really did feel like a video game, kind of with cutscenes, kind of, right? There's fights in between. They have like little fight marker things, and it's it's funny. There's a lot of great action. They have fatalities in there that are pretty brutal. There's good gore. Prince liked the stages. Again, I didn't recognize the stages because I don't really. I mean, that's not true. I did recognize like the spike pit. That one was kind of familiar. Sorry, it's getting a little warm. Um, but other than that, like, I didn't really feel much in that. Though I do know the song, the techno song. That I do know. Mortal Kombat. Do, 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 do. True, they were in the town quite a bit. But I guess there's only so many places you can fight. Oh yeah, that song jamming in the movie theater, like I could feel the vibrations on the floor. It was great. It was great. It was great. Like people were leaving during the credits, and I'm like, where the are you going? When it was like going through the characters, like Shao Kahn, Scorpion, Sonya. People were getting up and leaving, and I'm like, where are you going? This is like the best part of the movie. It was an interesting like ending credit graphics though. Kano and Cage together were really good. I like their riffing back and forth. Um, Obviously, if you've seen the previous one, Kano died. He does, obviously, he's back to life in this one because he's brought back to life. And that's the thing about this movie is death. So multiple characters have been brought back to life. And who's the guy who brings them back? Is it Quan Chi? Right? I don't know. Yeah, Quan Chi. Okay. Yeah. The guy with the white. It's funny, he's played by this other guy who I definitely recognize from other things. I did not recognize him in this role whatsoever. He was in that movie or that TV show Vetter that you had me watch with that TV show with the guy who's the bounty hunter for demons on Amazon. Is that Kevin Bacon? Yeah. So he was in that. He's the boyfriend to Kevin Bacon's ex-wife, who owns the club. He's always wearing that cowboy hat. But he plays Quan Chi, and it was just like, oh, because I didn't know his name in the credits. When I saw him on IMDb, I was like, huh. He was in Together. He was in Together. I don't remember him in Together, but he was in Together. I don't remember a lot of Together, but anyway. So this whole thing with death, where people could just be brought back to life, and I thought it was really odd. I mean, obviously they mentioned about how souls are corrupted and you're not quite the same you were before when you were brought back, and my issue with it is that it felt kind of cheap that people could just be brought back to life. Like, how many times are you going to bring somebody back to life? I mean, because Kano is exactly the same as he was when he was brought back to life. The other characters, not so much. Yes, they're revenants, and I get that. I do get that. But it just feels a little odd. Like I was wrote about this, and I thought that it might have been different if they treated it like a video game where yeah, I know. Prince, I saw the movie. God. No. Quan Chi says that, doesn't have much of a soul left to corrupt. But I think that if they would have treated it more like a video game where if you died in combat, right, and you failed, you would feel all the pain of your death and everything like that. And then you just kind of get sent to like a purgatory or somewhere else until the tournament's over. And then you come back. Like, I feel like that could have been something they did instead of just resurrecting folks. Because, like, even when the movie ends, they talk about resurrecting people again. And it's like, God, how many times are you going to resurrect people? So I feel like if they just would have worked in that you don't fully die in the tournament, like you die and you feel all of it and you have the trauma of death. It's true. Yeah, that's exactly my point. It's really hard because you can't kill somebody and then have another movie and somebody's like, well, you killed Johnny Cage or you killed this person. What are you going to do now? That's what I mean. That's why I feel like if there was an out, a built-in out for that, where characters came back automatically at the end of the tournament, kind of thing. Like maybe they had to spend the rest of the tournament in the Nether realm in hell or something, and then they can come back afterwards and retrain for the next tournament. I think that might have given a little more. I mean, maybe people wouldn't think it's as serious since some of the good guys do die. They might not think of it. Like, oh, it's really. People might think that cheapens it then. But I don't know. I think the resurrection shtick was a little cheap. But my main issue is why was Shao Kahn allowed to do what he did? Like, they mentioned these elder gods, and I know the elder gods come up into games at some point. Like, he literally cheated. I'm not trying to spoil anything for you guys, but he literally cheated. And why is there nothing being done about that? Like, why does it fall upon the other people to stop him from cheating? Why didn't the elder gods do something about it? That's the thing. I found that kind of annoying because they talk about the elder gods a lot, and then nothing happens with them. I was like, it's not fair. He's a cheater. Why does he get to be that way? God, if I see one more Mortal Kombat fan crying about their favorite character dying, good God. They're like, oh, that person can't die. They're goated. They're way more powerful than that person. You think so? They're gonna need to make some more money. Vetter, you're gonna have to go see Mortal Kombat like 3 times this weekend. They're gonna need some money. Go see it in 4D, like Prince did. um, I didn't know Tati Gabrielle was gonna be in it. That was fun. Let's see. Hiroyuki Sanada. That's the guy who we recognize. He's Scorpion. I am going to say this might hurt people's feelings, okay? I understand how iconic it is. I say it all the time, but I thought the "get over here" sounded terrible. I'm just gonna. I have to say it. I did not like it because it was done by Ed Boon, one of the original creators of the game, so he did record it for this movie. But I just don't like how it sounds because you have Scorpion, who's Hiroyuki Sanada, and he talks with his accent. I will not fight in this tournament any longer. And then get over here, and it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It just sounds super fed in, which I know it is, and I know it's iconic. Like I said, I probably say it every time we play Marvel Rivals. Like, it comes up all the time. I'll probably say it this weekend. It's just, I just didn't care for. I heard it in the trailer, and I heard it in the first movie, and I just, yeah, it's a fan service thing, which is fine. It's iconic. I get it. She is the moment. I don't like it. Hearing it in the movie was just as cornball, in my opinion. Like, I'll be honest, the movie was pretty fun. And I know fun is a dirty word for a lot of these hardcore dude bro movie reviewers. You can't have fun at the movies. You can't. It's bad. Fan service is bad. Not supposed to make stuff that fans like. You know, who was my favorite? That's a rough one. I feel like there's a lot of characters and we don't see a lot of them. Like Shang Tsung, we don't see much of. Like, I feel like he's supposed to be the super powerful, crazy guy, but I know he was more in the first one, I think, right? I don't remember the first movie much at all. Except for the whole like thing with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Um I don't know. I didn't really have a favorite. I like Sonya. I kind of wish there was more with Jax. I guess I like Kano and Johnny Cage's banter, so I just enjoyed that the most. The Bihan thing, I knew who he was. You know, he's a was he Noob Sabat? Um, at first I thought he was Smoke because that's what he kind of looked like to me. But her kiss, yeah, the they can't do every fatality, Prince. Why didn't they do any babalities where you turn your opponent into a baby? Why didn't they do any of those? When's Reptile gonna come in and be a big old dinosaur? And Johnny Cage can be like, "All right, Yoshi, calm down." Yeah, friendships, like the dance one. There's a dance one. I will say I liked the fight between Liu Kang and Kung Lao. That was a really good fight. And I feel like I feel like it was supposed to be more emotional because they're like brothers. Not brothers, but like brothers, like very close friends. And I kind of got that a little bit from it. But that hat stuff, the stuff with the hat, I found that to be really cool. I won't lie. I thought a lot of those hat moves were really cool. And the way that it was like organic, where Liu Kang would like block it and then fight and then block the hat again, like the hat's just like flying around. I really like that. And that one part where Kung Lao throws the hat and then like teleports into the hat. So the hat is spinning, and then he's like, here's the hat, and he's like, and he's spinning with it, and then kicks Liu Kang in the face or whatever. I thought that was a really, that was like my favorite move in the whole movie, kind of. Yeah, I mean, he had the hat in the previous movie too. Yeah, I really like that. It looked really good. A lot of the fatalities looked really good. Um, the way people died looked good. So I was not expecting that death in the pit because I was curious how they were going to handle character deaths. So I was just like, huh, okay, we're just killing. All right, got it, got it. I really wasn't sure. Baraka was pretty cool. I heard people complaining about Baraka. I thought Baraka wasn't that bad. Yeah, it felt like a game, and I thought that's the exact niche it needs to be in, where there's like serious stakes for the characters, but the movie itself doesn't take itself that seriously. So the characters feel that they are defending their realms and they're fighting for justice, and we get to watch it like a video game. Yeah, he was a bit lighthearted. He was They made him kind of like, he's not dumb. He's just, he's very like a simple-minded kind of thing, but he believes in like mutual respect kind of stuff. So I don't know. He was fine. Yeah, and he loves Johnny now. Is this the female that you saved? I think the only thing scarier than Baraka would have been the kid Barakas, the whatever the race is called, the Tarakans, the children with the teeth mouths. I think that was scarier. That's like horror movie stuff. That just makes me think of like a Evil Dead thing or something. Yeah, to Tarkatans, and they turn around. They're like, it's like, ugh, God, God, lemon. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. I thought it wasn't bad. It's sitting at a 7 on IMDb. I feel like it's exactly the way I say this over and over and over. It's exactly the way it should be. And I think if people still don't like it, if fans still don't like it at this point, I don't know what kind of Mortal Kombat movie you want, aside from not wanting a Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, they went the more serious route, you didn't like it. They went the more video game route, and you didn't like it. So what do you want? Like, you can only do so much with a fighting game, right? You can only do so much with a fighting game, especially a fighting game with characters die. Yes, this is the Mortal Kombat movie. I see, Prince. I'm glad you really liked it because that's what it's made for. It's made for people who want to like it, who like the franchise. I haven't played a Mortal Kombat in years. I did play one where you got to create your own character and you kind of like ran around the overworld and like you opened chests and you found like combat coins and you did missions for characters. Do you remember that one? I don't. It might have been like on the N64 or like the Xbox. It's still the fighting game, but it had like a adventure mode in it, and you would literally like run around like a 3D world in third person, and you would go to temples and like do stuff. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember playing that too. And obviously, I played like the original back in the day. So I just sucked at it, so I don't want to play games that I suck at. I'm not good at fighting games, so I don't play them that much, especially not now. I was pretty decent at Dead or Alive, but all right. So rating for Mortal Kombat. Also, did you know that the bartender was actually Ed Boon, one of the creators of the movie or of the series? It's true. Like, is that all my stuff I had written down here? Yeah. It was an enjoyable film. Like I said, very enjoyable. I mean, like I said, I played Tekken 2 a lot. I played Smash Brothers. I played a lot of Dead or Alive. It's just kind of like, but we always played it with each other, like locally. Like, I could beat my sister and my stepbrother and stuff like that, and we would have back and forth and stuff. But once like moved into like online fighting and stuff like that, it's not enough. Like I'm not enough, I should say. I only played Street Fighter again. I never owned Street Fighter. I played it at a friend's house and wasn't very good at it. That new Street Fighter is coming out, and it looks like it's following the same vein of over the top goofiness. This one might be even more over the top. Um, it does have that douchebag guy in it, the guy playing Dan, but they had a very long trailer for it when I saw. I think when I saw Mortal Kombat, and I was just like, "Huh." It actually made it look not terrible. It looks terrible. It's just like Mortal Kombat. What are you talking about? It looks like it's going to be goofy, but they're going to try to inject serious stuff into it. Like the whole thing with like Ken being a washed up fighter and him having to find himself again. Like it looks like they're going to try to inject something into it that shouldn't be there. So I'm not optimistic about it. Will I see it? I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, rating for Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, the guy who plays Dan is like some massive like MAGA racist dude. So That makes me just not want to watch it altogether. Because of one person. Although, what's his face is playing M. Bison. Dave Moustachian. You got Jason Momoa. You got Cody Rhodes from wrestling. They made a joke about Chun-Li's thighs. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that, but anyway. Mortal Kombat. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think he'll be fine as M. Bison. Because Mortal Kombat, especially this one, I think this is a movie like my mom would watch. Which I know that probably sounds really weird. But this is the kind of movie that I feel like she would find entertaining. Not my grandma. She probably wouldn't want to watch it. It's too bloody. But I feel like if this was on TV, she'd probably just watch it. Just have it on. Get a couple chuckles. You know, have like the fantasy element in it. And that's usually enough for some people. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. But I'm not mad at it. I think if they make more and they keep up with this shtick, I think it'll be fine. Though I don't know what they were going to do in the future, like what you would do moving forward. Because I mean, would you have another tournament? Would it become like a more sprawling epic like the first movie? You got to be careful with that. I wasn't a huge fan of the Scorpion noob Cybot thing, to be honest. I thought it was very kind of like back burner stuff. It felt kind of forced in. It's like, oh, we need somebody to help us to get to the Nether realm. Okay, well, here's Scorpion. Oh, good, he'll guide us. No, he's just gonna go fight. He's gonna go fight for like 20 minutes and leave you to do it yourself. The radical leftist Shao Kahn is invading the Earth realm. He's definitely not a radical leftist. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, 7.5. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Should be self-explanatory why that's a nostalgia movie, right? Should be self-explanatory. Prince, we already have Hell on Earth. It already exists, sir. And we are currently living it. Yes, I found it to be an enjoyable experience. So next would be the only other movie that's not Michael, which would be Tuner. Because remember, I'm doing Michael last. So, we're going to talk about the Regal Mystery movie that played on May 11th, which was Tuner, which apparently was that one person who was in this chat earlier, one of their favorite movies of the year. It was not one of my favorite movies of the year. But it does have Leo Woodall, who was also in Nuremberg, and Dustin Hoffman, and Havana Rose Liu. She was in the movie Bottoms. And a small cameo by Jean Reno. This is rated R. Tuner is rated R. It is an hour and 49 minutes. A talented piano tuner's meticulous skills for tuning pianos lead him to discover an unexpected aptitude for cracking safes, turning his life upside down. So Leo Woodall plays Nicky, and he has a kind of a hypersensitivity to sound. So he's always wearing earplugs. And then when things get worse, he puts on noise-canceling headphones. But he also has it helps him with like perfect pitch. And he used to play piano as a kid until he developed this disease. But he went through a therapy so he could still work with pianos. Basically, kind of like an exposure therapy where you hear piano noises and adapt your ears to being able to hear it. Yeah, you better like and subscribe. God, it's been 60 minutes of pure pleasure for you. But Tuner doesn't come out till May 29th. So, well, not this is the only review I'm doing on it, but it doesn't come out for a bit. So, not even next week, the following week. So Nikki and Harry, Nikki, Leo Woodall, Harry, Dustin Hoffman, they have a tuning piano business. It's Harry's business. Nikki works for him. They're like very close, like a son type of situations, you know. He's a mentor. He's known him his whole life. Very typical type of experience there. And Nikki's very standoffish because he doesn't want to interact with people because then he doesn't have to explain his disease and all that. He's kind of a pity party, but he's also kind of an ass. Butthead. But anyway, so Harry gets sick, and Leo needs some money to help him because it's America and he doesn't have health insurance. So an opportunity presents itself for him to get involved in some criminal activity where he will help crack safes for criminals. And honestly, and then he meets a girl and kind of falls for her and they have a little whirlwind romance. And that's the Havana Rose Liu. She plays Ruthie. She's like a piano genius kind of girl too, but playing piano. She's very standoffish as well, so they kind of melt each other's hearts. So then he's trying to juggle his piano tuning company, because Harry's in the hospital, with his criminal activities, with dating his girlfriend. And it's all very familiar. I feel like there's plenty of movies about the guy who has a heart of gold but gets caught up into something because he's trying to do good, and now he has to deal with the consequences. It's very familiar, and that's the nostalgia aspect of this movie, is that it feels like movies from 10, 15 years ago, even maybe even longer ago, where you have the boyfriend who's doing these things. And honestly, it's okay. It didn't like I wasn't blown away by the story, and the fact is they really didn't give him much of a backstory. Everything we learned about Nikki's backstory is from Harry telling us. So Dustin Hoffman is telling us, oh, he was a Jesus, a piano prodigy. You know, he has perfect pitch. He's super great. He could have been a superstar. He could have been a contender. But we don't ever see it. Like, there's no flashbacks. He's not showing his. I am a little sleepy, but there's no like we don't get anything of this background, and it's unfortunate because you could tell that Leo Goodall is like giving this tortured soul kind of performance, but we as the audience, at least I as the audience, didn't feel the torture because it's like we don't see you. We don't see you being torn up over this. We don't see you longing for your past of playing the piano or, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, and it wouldn't even have to be flashbacks. It could just be pictures. They showed pictures at one point, right? They mentioned his father. And that came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, well, I know nothing about his father. What about his father? And they're like, oh, he believes in you. And it's like, okay, his father's dead, BT dubs. But it was just like, okay, well, what's the story between his relationship with his father? Because there was like a weird awkwardness to it. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess we'll never learn that. If you read the comments on my TikTok or my short for this, you'll somebody was talking about it because there is like a little bit of an exposition dump by Nikki's character. But for me, they could have added flashbacks to that or really just had him remember things. And it really could have just amplified his tortured soul thing. So, and I found that to be a really big miss for the film. But it was really weird. They made it like seem like when he got into his relationship was like the first relationship he's ever had in his life, which I think it was. So then I was like, is he a virgin? Was that his first kiss? Like, did he just lose his virginity and we got to see it? Like, is that what happened? There's no nudity in this movie, which is unfortunate. So, because Leo Woodall was beefy in this movie, and we could have stood to see some cheeks. We could have stood to see some cheeks. But unfortunate, no beef, no beef. One good thing about the movie is the music. There's a lot of jazzy music, which I do enjoy. Jazzy covers of songs, which I do enjoy. It was very fluid. Like the whole beginning of the movie was basically this jazz opener with a lot of like snappy dialogue between Harry and Nikki having this conversation about tuna fish and mercury, and it was really funny. And that guy who was with the in the movie with me today, he was busting his behind, cracking up during that. But it was good. They did play a song by Nina Simone called "Sinner Man," which I used to have in my collection when I had Apple Music. Forgot completely about the song. I had such indigestion. I had a meatballs today for dinner on a tortilla with cheese, like a meatball sub, a meatball burrito. But I was like, wait a second, I recognize this like beat. And then she started singing. I was like, oh my god, it's that song. So it was weird that I recognize that. But yeah, a lot of music is really, really good. I enjoyed that. If you don't like jazzy music, you probably won't like the music. The whole thing's about piano, so there's a lot of piano, classical music, jazz music. It's all in there. Um, the movie also has really good sound design, which is sorely needed since this movie deals with the hearing abilities of Nikki and such, and how he hears things in the world and how we hear things in the world. So there's a lot of playing with turning volume up, muting sounds, him getting like overly stimulated and the feedback of that. And I feel like you won't get that full effect at home, if I'm being honest. I feel like that's definitely a movie theater thing. But I mean, this isn't really a movie I would say you have to see in theaters. But if you're interested in it, I would say go see it in theaters strictly because that aspect will be much better in theaters. Yeah, it's definitely it's a movie theater thing. With unless you have like a really nice sound bar and speakers and stuff, then you'll be able to pick up on it. But theater has that set for you. Yeah, it is always better. Like when I watched Michael. We're not there yet. Um, they showed a lot of the breaking of the safes. He broke a lot of safes, and they showed pretty much all of them. And I thought I never got bored of it. They would show like the internal mechanisms of the safe and all that, and how he's doing it. And I thought I would get bored, but I didn't get bored of it. And maybe because there's fun music playing, like the jazzy music, that it made me like it more. I don't know. The movie itself did bore me, but not the safe cracking parts, as repetitive as they were, did not get me bored. I'm disappointed that the criminals he was with never really warmed up to him because it felt like they warmed up to him, but they turned on him really easily. There is a scene where a character experiences bodily harm, and it's very dramatic, and it's supposed to be very dramatic, and they don't show you the full bodily harm, but then they show you the results of it, and it's like, that's it? That is what happened to them? And it was really it was really just lame, because it was supposed to be this whole dramatic moment. Now the person did get permanent damage to their body, but the physical mutilation that they showed was like, yeah, because they made a big deal out of it. And I was like, oh crap, did they just like do that? Like I don't want to spoil it, but they made it seem like it was a big deal. And then when we see the character in the hospital, it's like, oh, that's all that happened. Like they didn't, like, let's say they're chopping something off. They barely took off any of it. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's the dramatic part. So I thought that was really odd. I don't know, maybe it was a special effects budget where they couldn't do that, couldn't show that missing thing. But I don't know. It definitely feels like a safe movie, but like a movie that would be appealing to people who throw it on for streaming. Like, I'm not sure it's going to appeal to people to go to the movies to see it, but I think that if people were to go see it, it gives you, a romance angle. It gives you some heist angles. Gives you some art, music angles, some comedy. Like I feel like it covers its bases to satisfy people. But overall, I didn't find it super entertaining. I found it a bit tropey, and I did like the sound design and I did like the music. It's just the overall film and the story, with the lack of the background, the character background, was sorely needed, in my opinion. That I just ended up not caring for it as much. I wish that person who said that it was like their best movie of the year way earlier, I wish they were still in here so they could tell me what they liked about it. I would love to know, like, why it was so impactful for them. It has good reviews on IMDb. I mean, it's sitting at a 7.4. It has better reviews than Mortal Kombat. And it has the same score as Funny Girl. People say it's like Baby Driver. I've never seen Baby Driver, so that's not really a good comparison for me. Tuner delivers a stylish and immersive new era of heist. Not quite. The movie's been around for a bit. It premiered at a festival in 2025 and stuff. It doesn't have any box office information because it's not out yet. Yeah, right. How dare they beat your movie? No problem. You go. I'll be sitting here talking about Michael Jackson as soon as I'm done with Tuner. I am going to give Tuner, though, I feel like either a 6 or 6.5, because like I said, I really did enjoy the sound. I did enjoy the music. I did enjoy the visuals. I did enjoy all of that. It was just the story that's moving the movie along was very mid of the road, and I wanted more from it. So either a 6, 6.5. I'm not sure yet. Maybe once I write my stuff tomorrow for IMDb and Letterbox, follow me on Letterbox. I don't think you can follow me on IMDb. Um, then we'll do that. Oh, Michael Jackson. I had to work to think of critical things to say about it because I was just so immersed in music. Anyway, Tuner, 6, 6.5. Now let's talk about Michael Jackson. Michael was really hard to do because it's like I was just I bawled in Michael Jackson like whole shoulder movement in this. It's sitting at 7.7. Like violence against children, man, it's gonna get me. It's only PG-13 too, and it's only 2 hours and 7 minutes. I kind of wish it was longer. I feel like it could have been longer, to be honest. They could have explored some more stuff. All right, Prince, bye. The early life of musician Michael Jackson, from the discovery of his talent as the leader of the Jackson 5 to the artist whose creative ambition fueled a pursuit to become the biggest entertainer of the world. Obviously, people know who Michael Jackson is. It says it's a docudrama, period drama, psychological drama, showbiz drama, and biography. Now, the elephant in the room, of course, is what everybody keeps complaining about, and that is the accusations, right? The accusations are not touched upon in this movie. Get it? Touched upon? Because the time frame of the movie is from the 60s to the 80s. So it stops before we get into the 90s and the court trials and all that stuff. You can't see my hand, it's over here. So it wouldn't make any sense for that to be in the movie. And I know people think it's a cop out. They should have just had it in the movie. You're talking about a musician who had a career of like 40 to 50 years. You can't fit all of that in one movie. I would be really annoyed if they tried to fit it all into one movie. I would love to have a second movie, 100%. And then you can explore all that stuff completely. So, as for my review, I don't want you to think that I am condoning or approving or dismissing any of these things that have been rumored that Michael Jackson has done, because I am not. I'm speaking on the film itself, not the things that are not included in the film. You gotta remember, this movie has a lot of involvement from the Jackson estate. So it's going to need to be somewhat sanitized, because you're not going to get a true gritty story when you need the music, right? If they try to go deep into stuff, which is my concern for the next Michael movie, which I hope they call Jackson. So it's Michael and Jackson. That'd be a really cool, like, double pack Blu-ray 4K thing. Like, get Michael, get Jackson. There would be no way they would get licensing for the music and the story if they were like, oh yeah, he did this, this, and that. They would have to sanitize some stuff to make it more palatable for the family to approve. And even with that, 3 of the Jackson kids are not in this movie. They just don't exist at all. There's no Janet, there's no Randy, and there's no Rebby. That not mentioned, they don't exist. It's just the Jackson 5 and LaToya. It's 5 out of 8 kids. Hi, Dean. And that's not a weird thing, because I mean, if you've seen Iron Claw, which you really should see Iron Claw, they left out kids in that movie, because that's like a family of wrestlers. They left out some of the family of wrestlers in that movie. So it's not uncommon for movies to leave out family members. There was another movie that I had on my top of my head that also left out characters. I don't remember what movie it was now, but yeah, so it's not uncommon. But I will say that yes, I do believe that Michael Jackson was a very emotionally disturbed person who definitely needed decades of very intense therapy. Okay? And that's one thing the movie did do. They didn't shy away from the fact that he was eccentric. They didn't shy away from the fact that he liked animals and he would talk to animals and Bubbles the monkey's in the movie. Like they didn't shy away from that at all. And I thought that was really good of them. It's very forward because, I don't want them to hide what people consider to be weird. To me, I just viewed it as an entire walking psychological case. That's how I viewed it. Um, Maybe it's because of my degree, but it really just felt like, him being friends with the monkey or being friends with a rat or a snake. It's just very like, yep, that's not healthy. But yeah, so Michael. I will say that Jafar Jackson does a great job. I know he's getting a lot of praise for this, and I think he deserves that praise. I think that he captures the essence of Michael very well. I'm not entirely sure how much singing he did in it. Um, but I do think he did a good job, at least with the voice and the mannerisms and stuff. And I definitely had to look down. So kudos to the makeup team and the prosthetics team for the noses and stuff. That I do like that. I think he did a great job. Could even be an Oscar nominee performance. He could win his first Oscar on his first nomination in his first movie. Coleman Domingo plays Joe Jackson, Joseph, as they all call him, not Dad. And he was good. He was mean, abusive, a nasty person, a nasty person. Um, I will say that he wasn't portrayed as mean as I was expecting. And it's not to say I wanted to see more like child abuse or anything like that. I just thought he was going to be a lot more brutal. And there are accusations that some of the siblings, some of the children have said where he was, pulling a trump on the little girls. So that was not included in the film. So, but I do want to say that Giuliano Valdi, he plays young Michael, like as a kid. He was great. He was great. I thought that not that I know much about young Michael Jackson, but I definitely felt like him and Jafar Jackson's characters are the same person. They really have that same type of energy, and I think it really, really worked out. So, kudos to Giuliano Valdi and Jafar Jackson. Fantastic. The rest of the Jacksons are very much kind of background people, which is fine because it is a movie called Michael. It's not called Tito or Jermaine. It is. Oh, Marlon's the other one. You do see Quincy Jones. You know who else is in this movie very randomly? Mike Myers. He plays the head of like CBS or something, which I thought was really funny because Mike Myers had a random part in Bohemian Rhapsody. He played a record executive in Bohemian Rhapsody where when Queen was trying to do Bohemian Rhapsody, and he was like, I don't think so. And I had looked it up to make sure that they weren't like the same character. They're not the same character. But I just thought it was weird that he was in both of these music picks as like executives. Although this one is produced by the producers of Bohemian Rhapsody, so. Oh, she was Gladys Knight? That I did not know. Interesting. It's my Latoya Jackson. That's how she laughs. So the main thing about Michael, obviously, is the music. It's Michael Jackson music. It's all the hits. It's the Jackson 5 hits. It's just fantastic music in movie theater quality sound. just pounding right into your chest. I couldn't have loved it any more than I did. I mean, absolutely the experience that I would want. I enjoy Michael Jackson music, and I enjoy the Jackson 5, and just hearing it and hearing some of the mixes and how they fade into each other and stuff. I love that, and it felt really good. There is a lot of music because Michael Jackson has a lot of hits. I mean, he would have like 5 or 6 hits from an album. And it's just they recreated music videos, they recreated TV performances, recreated stadium shows and stuff. Not all of them are recreated well, in my opinion. Um, but really, it's the music that got me through the ones that I felt weren't done super well. 'Cause I just love the music is just, and it makes it hard to try to think of things I didn't like about the movie because I was so engulfed in the love of the sound. Like I'm just sitting there, just jamming out to my heart's content. Just reading my notes here. The music wasn't always in chronological order. There were times where they would bring up Jackson 5 music later on in the movie, which I thought was interesting. It didn't like ruin anything for me, but there was stuff I didn't like. So some of the camera angles were really uninspired. Um, I didn't really notice it a lot until like the final concert they had where he was solo and playing "Bad." You know, I'm bad. That song. Um, that some of those camera angles were just like the most like just it looked like they forgot to move the camera to do anything. Like they were just like behind him or something. It didn't give you any type of motion or emotion or feeling or anything. It was just like a shot. And I was just like, that's kind of ugly. Like where's the rhythm? Where's the capturing of that moment? It's just camera. There's also a lot of audience emotions and stuff. And it's okay for like 80% of it, but that other 20%, it felt really odd. Like the some of the audience members didn't look like they belonged in the timeline. But also it took away from the experience because it's obviously not a stadium, right? It's a group of people probably in a room, maybe 50 people in a room going, yeah, and then recording their reactions. Like it didn't have like grandeur to me in those times. Because like the thing about like Bohemian Rhapsody did was that they helped integrate real footage with with the fake audience footage. So when they're playing at whatever Wembley or Live Aid or whatever, they used real footage intermixed with the fake footage, so it created a sense of like realism. And this didn't feel that way. Now maybe they didn't have real footage of these concerts, which is possible. Live Aid's a huge deal, and they filmed all of that, so it's possible. But it was just some of those audience shots just felt super bad. I just didn't care for it. It kind of pulled me out of the film because it's like, ugh, that's weird. Like, oh, there's that girl and that guy again. It did feel like sometimes there wasn't enough non-performance material. Like in the beginning, there's a lot more family things. There's a lot more non-performance. So we're seeing them experience stuff, experience their lives. They're Jehovah Witnesses, you know, so we can see more of that dynamic. And then as obviously Michael gets older and he starts branching out into a solo career, there's a lot more hits and a lot more big hits. So you kind of leave behind the inter-family stuff, right? The Jacksons are pretty much no more at that point. They do another tour, but at that point, you don't see the rest of the brothers that much. Or Latoya's there, but she's just kind of like a silent partner to the mom. So you kind of lose the non-performance stuff, which is disappointing because that's the story. You know, that's the lifeblood of the film. Yes, I love the music and all of that, but we're watching a biopic. I want to see more of the biopic stuff too. I would have enjoyed more of that. But look, yeah, it was a very emotional movie for me. And it wasn't just like when Joe Jackson was beating him that I was crying, or when he's having these difficulties in life that I was crying. It's really just the fact, it's gonna sound corny, that is like gone, because he died in his 50s, early 50s. And it's just like, huh. Like, I don't know. Again, this is a biopic, so I don't know how much of this is 100% true or the timelines and all that jazz. If you're a historian, you may have issues with that. But it just kind of was like, I wish, like, you just seeing him and seeing the stuff he's going through where he's treated so poorly because he is different. And he probably, maybe he's autistic, or maybe he just had emotional issues that he needed to go to therapy for as a kid and a teen. I know that probably sounds weird, but it's true. I mean, child abuse leads to a lot of mental health issues that, if left unchecked, can result in things such as dangling your baby off a balcony, or his loss of childhood where he never grew up with Peter Pan syndrome. Peter Pan syndrome is a real thing, by the way. Um, so they do show his obsession with Peter Pan and Neverland and all that. So again, something they did not shy away from. There is a line that I laughed out loud to that he says. Michael's talking about getting his ideas from God. And his brothers are like, "Why are you just sitting there?" He's like, "Well, I have to sit here so I can get the message from God. And if I'm not there to receive these ideas, God will give them to Prince." And I just cracked up. Yeah, Prince, the musical artist, in case you didn't know, Purple Rain. Sorry, I'm just so yawny. I thought that was a really funny line. Really great costumes. There were times that some of the costumes that Michael was wearing felt odd, but it's like, no, he dressed up like that. Like, I've seen him dressed up like that, and it feels odd because it's so polished in the movie. When you see footage from the 80s and stuff, it's grainy. You see pictures are a little grainy, so you don't see maybe just how sparkly his little sailor suit with the shoulder caps are and stuff. But when you see it in a movie, it's like, that's really over the top. That's pretty crazy, right? The whole glittery glove. They talk about his vitiligo as well quite a bit, and I thought they handled a lot of that very well. Like, I'll be honest, the feeling that I had when watching it really overpowers the criticisms that I have. I will say I greatly enjoyed the film, and I would probably love to see it again. But I understand that it's not a perfect film. Like I said, I needed more story stuff in there. I Some of the recreation of the scenes weren't great, like the recreation of the concerts. Some of those things weren't really up to snuff. It's just there were things that didn't work for me, despite me having an absolute blast because of the music. Looking forward, they said that Antoine Fuqua said he would love to make a second one if this movie is successful, and this movie is successful. It's the #2 music biopic, um, it beating out Rocket Man. So now it's Bohemian Rhapsody. It's made $611 million. I'll be honest, I thought it would be more. Wait, when did the movie come out? April 24th. Yeah, I thought it would be more. Because he is a global phenomenon. I thought it would have hit 1 billion. I'll be honest. Maybe people aren't ready for it. I don't know. Anyway, I would be curious to see how they do a second movie. Simply for the fact because you're going to have to address the accusations and the court cases and all that stuff. And while still maintaining the music and the albums, the music videos, the little short films, that he did and all that. And I think that's going to be really hard to balance while maintaining the approval of the family. Right? And there's going to be a lot of pushback on that. People are going to say, oh, you're sanitizing it. You're making him look like he was innocent. Legally, he was innocent, even though they did settle a lot of things out of the case. And it's going to be really hard to traverse that controversial aspects of this. Plus, I feel like his music career, not that it dwindled, but it wasn't as big as it was with Thriller and Off the Wall and Bad, all that. So that's like, Earth Song and stuff like that is still well known. It's just maybe not as much. So I'm very curious to see how they would even try to handle that. And my concern is it is gonna be sanitized. I mean, even if they just did factual things where he wasn't found guilty of anything, people are still going to be upset because they're going to assume he's guilty anyway. And the court of public opinion is always going to be a big deal. And whether you're innocent or not. I follow 2 different creators on TikTok. And one of them is he's very much like he's against the Michael Jackson movie because it doesn't acknowledge these things. And he thinks it's a cop out that they didn't acknowledge those things. And the other person's like, well, here's evidence from the actual trial that proves that some of these things were not real. And I like them both still, both the creators, because I understand it. And, it's a very, sorry, thought I saw a bug. It's a very complicated situation where the court of public opinion is really the one that people matter with. And in today's world where there's a lot of black and white and not as much gray, you really you're in this camp or you're against us kind of ideas. So again, I'm not excusing anything. I'm not brushing anything under the rug. I want them to address this stuff in the movie. Like, I want them to do that. It didn't make sense for this movie, but I want them to address it in the future. They did show him in this movie with a lot of kids. He would go to the cancer wards. He would always be doing charity work. And when he had his accident with the Pepsi, he donated the money that he got from that to that burn ward where the children were burned and stuff. Like, you see him interacting with children all the time in this movie. And depending where you sit on that fence, you might be like, ew, that's gross. Or, oh, we know what's coming next kind of thing. I didn't think that way because I think that they really portrayed his childlike wonder very well. Uh, it's interesting that he lived at home with his parents, well, as a family, in the house that his money paid for, throughout all of this movie. like thriller, bad. He was still living at home. That's very interesting to me. Do I have a rating? I don't have a rating written down. So this movie is not tough to rate, but I do have to remember that there were things in it that I did not like. The the love I have for the music and the genuine happy experience, well, aside from crying, the genuine happy experience I had with the music is, you know, way up here. I don't know if I gave any rating to Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, Better Man. I don't know if I gave Better Man. I gave a good rating. I think an 8 or 9. Oh, I think that there's just some stuff that wasn't done as well in this movie. Aside from me loving the music, like I said, the story stuff was a little lacking as the movie went on. What's his face? Miles Teller's in this. I forget who he plays. He plays like his lawyer or something. And actually, that lawyer is not a good person, so I'd love to see him become a bad guy in the second movie. Or maybe even after he's dead. Again, I don't know how far they're going to go with this movie. If they're even going to get to the point where he dies or when he has kids or something, because, like, Paris Jackson was not part of this movie. The son was. He was part of it. He was one of the executive producers. But Paris wasn't part of this, so I don't know. But yeah, Michael. I'm going to give it an 8.5. And that probably sounds really good, which it is. But I'll be honest, it could have been a 9.5, if it just handled the non musical performance stuff a little bit better. Like, I wouldn't have minded a little bit more of the other brothers. Like, they mentioned that one of the brothers doesn't live there anymore, and it's like, oh, when did he move out? Who knows? They could have mentioned him moving out. They could have had a little going away party or something. Something to give us more background on Michael's character about the fear of moving away from the family you love, even though some of the family, Joseph, is highly abusive to you. Like, there is, like I said, that the Joe Jackson stuff I thought was going to be more brutal and more damning. But again, I guess they probably just sanitized it a little bit to make it more appropriate for all audiences and to ensure the sign off of the majority of the kids who were needed for the film. You know, you can't have the Jackson 5 without having the Jackson 5. You know, if Janet doesn't want to be in it, whatever. You know, she's not part of the Jackson 5, so she's not necessary. Although it is sad that she won't be part of the, like, if they do a second one, be part of the Scream. Maybe they'll get her permission for that. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, so that's all the movies for tonight, guys. Let's give a little recap here. Tuner, we're sitting at between a 6 and a 6.5. Michael, we just did, so that's an 8.5. Mortal Kombat 2 is a 7.5. We did enjoy that. And then Funny Girl, 1968, Barbara Streisand, is between a 7 and 7.5. I haven't really decided. I have to have some time to think about it. I just saw it today, just a few short hours ago. So I need to really reflect on the whole thing. But yeah, I love doing these lives. They're not super popular, but I do like them because it gives me a chance to go see a bunch of movies in theaters and really talk about them. Tomorrow is Friday. I don't know if there's anything out that I would go see. I know there's another mystery movie on Monday. I don't know what it's going to be. I kind of think I should see something else just in case I want to do a movie that's not the mystery movie. Maybe give ourselves a little break from mystery movies. I know we've been kind of mystery moving it up. They've been having one almost every single week for the past 3 months. It's insane. We did skip a couple. We didn't skip them. We didn't do reviews for some of them because we did other reviews like Wuthering Heights, The Bride. I'm not sure what the next big movie. I mean, Obsession is out. God is God, or no, Is God Is. Sorry. Um, what was the other one? I Love Boosters. That's coming out. So it's like, well, I want to know. I want to see those movies, and I would love to probably review some of those. Maybe not Obsession, but I Love Boosters and Is God Is. I would love to see. So I don't know. I also need to watch more of those Tubi movies. I'm so sorry. So yawning. And I really need to watch my bajillion movies that I've bought and not seen. And I will post a TikTok soon of my new movie shelf. I put it together. I've stocked it. It's not as full as I thought it would be, but it's done. It's done, and it looks great. And here's a little preview. I'm going to put this on the top. So with my Wayland Yutani popcorn bucket, which has a face crawler on it. But inside, I put the human alien hybrid from Alien Resurrection. I don't know if you can see him in there. We're going to go on. Obviously, you don't need the light on like that, but I'm going to put that on the top of it. But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. We will be live tomorrow on Twitch. Not on YouTube, on Twitch. Same name, GremlinLord615. So you can go ahead and follow me on there. We'll be playing some Battlefield 6. It's a new season. And then Saturday I'll be live again on Twitch. More than likely Marvel Rivals. And then Sunday I'll be live again on Twitch. I don't know what we're playing on Sunday, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks for everybody who stopped down. Thanks for anybody who subscribed, It's always appreciated. I love getting subscriptions. I'm trying to hit 500 very soon. I mean, we're struggling with hitting the viewership, but yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. The VOD will be up tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow on Twitch. Okay? Thank you, and goodbye.